A very warm good afternoon, everybody. Our esteemed guests and all the participants have joined us live. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you to Mazars in India's official YouTube channel. We have gathered here to celebrate National Technology Day in India. The day itself marks a very significant milestone in India's technological progress. Technology has become a very useful and an integral part and parcel of our life, and I believe all of us who have gathered here will agree to that. That our life without technology now seems a bit impossible, and since that's the case, on the occasion, this we not only celebrate the achievements but also we highlight the pivotal role of technology in India. It shapes our future, it drives our innovation, and since technology is there in the various sectors, we have gathered here for a virtual session that's aptly titled Exploring the Impact of AI Across Industries. And since we have so many experts from different industries, it will be an honor for me to welcome all of you. Our esteemed panel of guests includes Mr. Rajiv Agarwal, who is the CEO and MD of Essar Sports and Essar Capital. We have Mr. Kaushal Suresh Shetty as well, who is Head of Technology at Gati Express Supply Chain Private Limited. And to help us drive this conversation further, we have our very own representatives from Mazars in India. We have Manoj Ajgaonkar, Partner Digital Trust and Transformation. And we have Rohit Chaturvedi, Partner of Transport and Logistics Sector from Government Infrastructure Development Sector Advisory Service. A very warm welcome to everybody. I am extremely sorry to keep you all waiting for such a long time. But as we embark on this journey of an intriguing discussion and insightful discovery together, I would be more than happy to help you participate in the dialogues. And I can come towards the end of the conversation to help you summarize it with all the questions that has been coming from our live audience. I will be more than happy to ask them as well. And I hope to get some good answers from all the experts I've gathered here. So thank you for joining us, all four of you. And without any further ado, I would like to hand over the conversation to Rajiv, Rohit, Manoj, and Kaushal.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. And thanks for our esteemed panelists to join here today on a very short notice. In fact, I think AI is doing a lots of revolution, especially in transport and logistics. We are seeing that, across various industries, though of course transport and logistics has been the last in the queue, but I think it is catching up. So it will be good that, we pick up your brains on what is happening in your companies. So I'll just start with, what is the role of AI and ML, which is playing in ports and logistics player. Of course, Rajivji, you are from port sector, so I'll just open with you because ports is very close to my heart. So what is the kind of emerging technologies, what is the kind of role which AI is playing in your company and which can play in the port sector, say in general in India, because I think India is still catching up with the wave of especially the port sector. Not many people have done a lot, but Essar is at the forefront. So what is happening, especially in Essar, but in the industry?
Thanks, Rohit. I must say that AI is still a very new concept, as we all know, and I'm reminded of the time when I started my career in '84 in the last century, and at that time technology or IT was just coming in. So in our company, we had all the IT-enabled services, and we had mechanized accounts, and we were using laptop, not laptops. The laptops were not there. Mainframes were there, and then one kind of desktop started, in '85 or something. So at that time there was a lot of apprehension how this will pan out, how it will impact the human lives, and how it will reduce employment. There used to be a lot of agitations that it is going to reduce employment and that it would not be very beneficial for India because India had large population. So I see the same kind of debate happening today with AI, where people are fearing technology, where people are apprehensive about technology. And, we have seen that, in fact, IT helped increase the overall scope of, things. people become things became simpler, less manpower intensive, but at the same time it increased the scope, or it increased so many avenues where employment could be generated. So it had a big multiplier effect on the entire thing. So similarly, I expect that AI is going to help us. This AI today is very in the initial stages, and the debate about whether AI will take over human intelligence also is unnecessary, because I think that eventually there is no way you can underestimate human intelligence. So our systems are so well made that of course, you have to use it. So I've also seen over the years that sometimes if people don't use their own intelligence very much, then you tend to get kind of bogged down by just technology, and you just follow it blindly. So to that extent, I would say that creativity of human mind cannot be undermined. As far as the port sector is concerned and the transportation sector is concerned, I think we have been using for some time, and a lot of in the predictive studies and all the old data which has to be analyzed, even when you are setting up a new project. For example, I would say that setting up a port is slightly more complicated than setting up even an airport or the other things, because you have to study the waves, the entire waters, the requirements of dredging, the requirement of the waves, and how it functions in various seasons, and how what kind of say storms you get or things like that. So AI is very helpful in all these hydrodynamic studies that we do, and also in also the traffic, the way the ships come in, and all of that in the simulation studies. So I think we have been using unknowingly some of these technologies, and going forward also we expect that in the VTMS, which is the vessel traffic management systems, or the cargo handling systems, these are going to be of immense value, especially both of these. If I say talk about the cargo handling, so after the cargo is unloaded through mechanized systems, then in the storage, and then the various transportation means, like whether you are using trucks or you're using a railway system or whatever. So I think AI is going to be very helpful in driving efficiencies, and we are also seeing usage in energy monitoring. Because energy is a very important part. How to reduce the consumption, how to optimize the consumption, how these studies, predictive studies, and past data can help you in seeing how we can do or improve in energy consumption. So energy consumption is another area where we are finding it useful. Then predictive maintenance, how we have to plan our maintenance, at what intervals, which machines. So a lot of studies get done, and so at least in these 3-4 areas, we are finding that now at least we have started using, and these are the important areas. I'm sure there will be many more areas where this tool is going to be immensely helpful in improving the efficiencies of ports. And so not just ports, but the entire logistics system, because today ports are not just ports, but they are all part of an overall multimodal logistics system. So this is where we are, and these are my opening words, and I think that's
Great.
what
Great, Rajiv. In fact, I think I remember that our discussion on this as well. So I think we spoke about various things. In fact, AI in video analytics for efficiency, security, and safety, all the aspects. But I think your point is very much valid that we fear technology as we were fearing in 1985, and maybe a couple of centuries ago when industrial revolution happened. So it is called Luddite. And one interesting development that I would like to share with the panelist and the audience, that there are new types of jobs which are emerging. So I
yeah.
am hearing that there are people who are being hired for as a prompt engineers. So after Chat GPT, the efficiency has increased. But having said that, all depends on chat, or just what is the kind of prompt that you are giving. So companies like big companies in consulting especially, they have started hiring prompt engineers. So new type of jobs may emerge. You never know what will happen, and it is of course uncharted territory, but I think it is for good. But coming to Kaushal, you have been seeing this express cargo industry, but of course you are an expert in logistics per se. So, what is your view in the emerging technology? What role it can play, especially AI and ML? I think we can cover maybe others like robotics, because nowadays you cannot have AI ML on standalone basis. You need to have with robotics. You need to have with automated guided vehicles. So, your views, please.
Yeah, thank you first of all having me as part of the panel. Pleasure to be here. And I think in the last bit you mentioned, it's very true that a lot of prompt engineers coming into a new role that's coming in. And one of the exchanges just day before yesterday I was having with one of my colleagues is that a lot of the product managers of the age will now become prompt managers in a way. So that's you need the similar level of business insight, knowing how to work with the engineering and the tech department as well. Now coming to AI in express or logistics distribution part of the segment that we are active in as all cargo Gati. I think considering the number of packages that we move, there are about millions of packages that we move in a week. There are about thousands of vehicle departures that we try and manage in a day. Uh, Much of that visibility we are enabling, and we're enabling that through people today. But still, it may not be 100%, right? I think where AI comes in, it'll definitely bring in a lot of customer delight, a lot of customer centricity in our businesses, and it'll see that the impact is there in how we manage our network. There's going to be a lot more optimization, both in terms of costs and quality as well, and that's very exciting for us. We have experimented with few of the POCs that align with computer vision, which we've been in discussion with also, right? Both in terms of how you can use that in live cameras, or you could use that in documents through what earlier was OCR. For me, AI is also very used very interchangeably as of today, right? So AI in the past, a lot of these interventions were referred to as RPA or machine learning, right? And today you see that AI has replaced a lot of those terms and it's used very interchangeably between them. But if you come specifically to Gen AI or large language models, which is really come into trend over the last 1 or 2 years, that's something that's very exciting. We are taking baby steps there, I would say. But definitely, one of the small wins recently that we've been able to really incorporate is we used Gen AI chatbot integration with the LLM of GPT, and we asked it to go through our HR policy. So today, no one needs to read through all our HR policies, etc. Especially with a lot of ESG governance, like, all those things coming in. There are a lot of aspects to the HR policy. There's a group policy, there's a company policy, which very much is aligned. But what anyone can do now going forward in the All Cargo group of companies is just have a conversation with a chatbot and be able to understand what the HR policy is. They don't need to read through the entire document. They can just message this chatbot and then get the details of it, right? So that's something exciting, and definitely we'll leverage that to eventually next. Today we have a chatbot on our website, which is or on WhatsApp, which is more menu based. How do we make it conversationalized? That is something that has been in discussion for a while. You see banks doing that. You see a lot of e-commerce companies doing that today. So the next step would be using LLM to enable just that for us as well. We've also looked to now revamp our TMS or ERP, which is GEMS. We originally had done the development with Satyam, and now we've come a full circle. And now with Tech Mahindra, we've engaged in a large project, which is very much in the public domain, about releasing our new ERP in the later half of this year, which will also integrate a lot of AI and a lot of the work that has been done by our data science team and our data engineering team over the last 1 or 2 years. We'll translate that in the new ARP, with new age technology that we'll work along with Tech Mahindra on. So some of those things, when you release thousands of trucks, you want to optimize them well so that you can balance your costs. So network optimization becomes something very critical for us. That's a huge cost factor and one of the largest cost factors for us. And pricing customization. Today, customers come from all length and breadth, and we have a very long tail of customers in the tens of thousands who we also want to retain. We want to give them that benefit that they might have a certain working arrangement with one of the logistics partners, and they would want us to fit into that similar working arrangement. So we try and customize our various line items so that we can fit into their as much as possible. That's one of the things that we will look to, also enable, which we've already done through data science and other aspects. OCR for a lot of documents, so proof of deliveries, that becomes very important. Making sure that you have a sign and stamp on those. That quality check when you are delivering tens of thousands of PODs every day, somewhere or the other, human error can lead to these things being missed out. And that's a massive cost for us and for our clients. And if it is 1% today, we want to reduce it to 0.1, right? So that's something that already we've come about 90% of the way. We are pretty much in the last mile of enabling that through machine learning. And once that is in place, no one needs to actually go through the document. All this effort that is today going into this kind of work could be used somewhere else, right? That's something that we are very excited about. It's already a long way we've come in that journey. Another piece is consignee location prediction. So in our industry, a lot of times pin codes and then addresses can get interchanged quite often. And in many cases, because some of the pin codes, their geographical definition is not very clear. So that creates a lot of disturbance in the network and can bring in additional costs. Even if it happens for 1,000 dockets a month, it creates a significant impact in terms of cost, a lot of internal coordination between clients and us. Client is dissatisfied as well. Those are things that we want to alleviate. And sometimes this, even when we have APIs or interchanges with our clients, the information can be incorrect on the client side as well. But if you look at our clients, many of them are automotive companies, many of them are pharma companies, retail companies, and if you have to understand where the dealerships of all of Maruti Suzuki are, you should be able to plan that and map that in the Indian map. And next time, whenever you pick up assignment pointing to that pin code or to that address, you're able to pinpoint by lat long where exactly you need to deliver that. So in B2C, it's or C2C, you can track them using, because there's people are using their phones. But even then, you see that drivers in Swiggy, etc., they leave a nearby landmark for the next driver who's coming to deliver to you. Here in B2B, those challenges are slightly different. People don't use handphones. People don't use. We cannot get their triangulated location from the GPS on their phones, because the person we are delivering to today, you might deliver to Kaushal. Tomorrow there might be someone else, right? So it's not necessary. I could be on leave and there could be someone else. So it's important for us to be able to triangulate where our customers are. And that's the next step of the journey. And once we have that route optimization on the last mile, that's something that's going to be very interesting as well. Customer churn is another piece where we try and understand in the long tail of customers, if there are certain patterns of them booking every 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. The minute we see that there's a fall in that trend, we are able to jump on that and make sure that that customer life cycle is maintained, and then we don't doesn't end up into that customer walking away from us. So these are some of the things. Of course, like Mr. Rajiv said, it's very new and it's still developing, and we're excited to implement more and more things going forward as well.
Great. So great question. Yeah. Rajiv ji, in fact, I think Kaushal spoke about LLM and ChatGPT, or and in fact other GPT models. So there are many nowadays. Mistral is one. Then of course Gemini is another. So do we see any possibility of say LLM models or large language models in say security or port? Because port security or say, security, these manuals are huge and boring, and when really something bad strikes, it is it leaves very little time for people to react. So can this really be very useful for the port, or it has got some challenges? So if you can just shed some light on that, please.
Also, just to add to what Rohit mentioned, Mr. Rajiv, and also to Kaushal, right? So basically, what we infer from whatever conversations that we've been having is that AI is not replacing the other technologies. That's point number one. So it's not that you now have AI, so basically everything else goes for a toss. So we spoke about RPA, we spoke about data analytics. So it's basically building upon what we already have, right? I think that's one very important aspect that you brought about. And second, Rohit, when we're also speaking about LLMs and generative models and how those use cases can actually be implemented, Rajiv and Kaushal, both of you basically spoke about a diverse range of use cases. Some of these use cases are very, or rather, I would say, they are quick wins, can be delivered very quickly, and some of them are really long term. I mean, when you spoke about a ERP and how you can basically put your AI into ERP and make it more intelligent, so there is a journey, is what I understand. So, Rajiv, you can of course answer what Rohit mentioned, but what I also would like to understand from both of you is that are you also then categorizing your horizon for AI into these short-term projects, long-term engagements, and prioritizing your investments accordingly?
Yeah, so basically, as everyone agrees that this is a new thing, so it is today depending more and more on the creativity of the managers, that how they want to use it, where they want to use it. So it's not that it's like an ERP system which you put as a mandatory thing, and it kind of manages your whole system. So here basically I think we are all trying to identify so many use cases. So like you said, that in case of security, definitely I think because a lot of data mining can be done through AI. This is one of the main features which initially started getting used through the chat GPT mode or whatever, and whatever information is available in the universe, you try to mine it and you try to analyze it and come up with something. So definitely this can be used for various purposes like customer analytics, behavioral analytics, security systems, and things like that. And I think that companies are still looking at formalizing various usages. Some of these are being used at individual levels by managers or teams. Some of these are already prevalent in some of our systems, and so I think it's a journey which we are going through. But definitely, yes, these can definitely be some of the important usages like security and especially customer management. Is definitely a very, very important aspect, which in ports, because like Kaushal said, huge number of customers. In some of my earlier industries like telecom and retail, there used to be a very, very large number of customers. So to that extent, of course, in ports, the number of customers are less, but the transactions could be large, and So I think we are working on these things to see that how we can improve our efficiencies through the use of these systems.
Great. So I think second question, related question that Manoj asked, whether we bucketize certain projects,
And one
and
more
if,
thing I would say is that it will improve the transparency,
correct,
and a lot of things which are sometimes maybe not coming to light and things like that. But at the same time, we have to be conscious that we should not become too dependent only on this intelligence and not, I've seen in many places, many companies and countries where people stop using, their own, common sense, because it's something which the system is telling you. So to that extent, of course, we have to be aware. Yeah, sorry, Rohit.
No. In fact, Manoj was also asking about prioritizing your projects and what is the criteria for prioritizing those projects. So in fact, there may be cost, there may be immediate benefit. So we just wanted to understand how you prioritize, categorize, or bucketize your projects. Technology in general, of course, AI and ML in particular, because still it is uncharted territory, and there might be some kind of unseens. So I think both of you can really share your insights on that.
Yeah, in fact, is the ratio of the budget now getting inclined towards AI? So because I was reading this article, very interesting, $4.7 trillion for 2024. That's going to be the global spend on technology. So
Yeah.
in your bucket, traditionally we always focused on software, we focused on cloud, we focused on infrastructure. So is that trend changing a bit? Are you allocating more funds, more resources towards AI?
No, so I would say that these trillions of dollars that we talk about in global context, yes, but in India, people have been much smarter, and the spends of IT are more, you can say, focused, or maybe the costs are less because we are employing, more innovative or grounded approach to get things done. In India, maybe the cost of doing things is much less than using some of the top IT companies to do what the people are doing in say America. So in our system, I would say that we would definitely like to do complete diagnostic, because I don't mind someone coming and telling me first that okay, let us first get a full blueprint made, like we get a master plan made for a port or for our activity. So first, chalk out everything, whatever we are doing or not doing, and what can be done, etc. And then see how we want to prioritize it, like, depending on the usage and the requirements at the moment, and also keep revisiting, because this is something which is a continuous process. So because the technology will evolve, and new things will come up. So you have to be on the ball. So this is what we would like to do.
Okay, great.
Yeah, because I think return on AI investment is a topic being spoken about everywhere now. Because just because AI is a buzzword doesn't mean that you go all out. You evaluate what you really, your business lines, what really gives you that return on AI investment, and accordingly chart out your strategies.
Correct.
Absolutely right.
Yes. Kaushal, you
Yeah,
were.
I agree with that. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Go
think
ahead.
one of the things is that, what I mentioned earlier on RPA and ML as well. These are tools in OCR which have been very much prevalent in the financial BFSI sector for many years, since say 2016, 2018 even. And what they have been able to do is partner with vendors, or there are many startups who have been able to train their internal models in such a way that they can bring value to the especially this kind of sector where there's a lot more budget and compliant regulatory requirements for them to ensure that these processes are followed. In our case, as you all discussed as well, the impact, especially in India, for these needs to be scaled up. Only then it's visible. What works in India is that scale is available, but the per package or per order effort required in terms of cost is much lower. So in such cases, you definitely need to do a pre-diagnostic or a proof of concept. When once you have some confidence on at a small scale what the ROI could be when you scale it up, then you are in a better position to invest in that and invest in that multifold. And one benefit that this brings in, uh, something that was only available earlier to the FSI sector. Today, now, what is happening is that that engine that many of these startups or companies have developed, you don't need to necessarily build that. Yeah, as long as you make the right data available and then you constantly train these models, you can eventually get a similar output for yourself. And accessibility is much better now in terms of the technology, while the cost, of course, always remains. And GPT is also not very used. The APIs, etc., are not very cheap to use for any company. So those are limitations which are continue to be there. But as more and more, you have Elon Musk and Google coming into the picture, I think that would also optimize itself.
Correct. So what I hear, Kaushal, you said that it has to be customized. Now, customization means cost will be a little bit higher, and but that takes to another question. Uh, how do you decide whether any solution or any development has to be done in-house or it has to be done by outside agency? And maybe it can have dimension of security. Data security is one important aspect, cost is another, control is another, maybe customization is a fourth one. So what is your view on make versus by the organizations on technology spend, especially in today's world when technology is evolving at a very, very fast pace?
Yeah, and one point to add there, Kaushal, is privacy, of course, because with the whole DPDPA 23 coming into picture, training data and the digital personal data of people is also becoming a very highly regulated space. So any thoughts on that as well?
Yeah. So right now, in terms of that context, for us, it's important for us to establish whether this is a business critical technology or not. If it is a technology that's very critical to the logistics industry and can be a differentiator for us, of course, it becomes very much a technology that we would want to, any technology, not just AI. It would be something that we would want to build ourselves. We wouldn't want to, make that available to others, because that gives us that competitive advantage, it's early mover advantage. That being said, we are not a tech company. We're a logistics company at the end of the day. So we have our own bandwidths. So even if our people are capable and we may not choose to do that because simply we have other bigger important issues to address at the moment. So that's in a gist, that's the approach we generally take. We also look at how far along are many of the in that problem that we are trying to solve. What is the vendor ecosystem, and how far along the journey have they come to? And if someone has already solved the issue for us and it's simple plug and play, that makes our decision a lot more easier to work with that.
Okay. Rajiv ji, what is your view?
No, yeah, but I agree with what Kaushal is saying. Only thing is that there is something in between also, that where we develop, we customize it, but we kind of outsource the customization. So basically, we employ some people to really customize it for us. So we don't buy ready-made kind of products. So there are good talents available in India where people can be used as people who would develop the whole system for you at a very cost-effective, in a cost-effective way. So I think we always do that also. So,
Manoj, yeah.
but I would say that overall, I think I found that Indian companies are quite smart in using technology at a very effective price.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, one thought here, and I think we also spoke about that early on when we were talking about AI taking over the jobs and so on and so forth. Uh, in your organizations, are you running any upskilling programs? Are you specifically focusing on skills of the future? Or, if you think that there is a specific technology that you see that has a big use case in your environment, so are you then going out and getting those specific skills?
So, yeah,
Yeah, go
I can
on.
take that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Kaushal, you
I
can please. Yeah.
here we've done something like this recently as well for many of the middle management. Of about 200 folks. We had partnered with IIM Mumbai, uh, and we were able to, through IIM Mumbai, have a couple of weeks course on how they will be upskilled, and especially in the digital and tech aspect. Especially in a lot of them being operations, pure operations folks who've been working in the industry or especially in Gati for a long time. For them to adapt and adopt these new age technologies becomes very imperative, and them giving us the right inputs as a transformation team or as an IT team, getting the right inputs from them on how that technology can be enabled becomes very important. We don't want them to look at it as something that is being forced on them or something that may not bring value. They want to see that this becomes an enabler for them, and that's very important. It is not necessary that they need to get into the coding or defining the product in itself, but the right inputs are always valuable because these are people ultimately who are very close to the ground and can observe and can add the right value, give the right value adds to ultimately define the right product for us. So that's my two cents on that, on how we are trying to do that.
Yeah, Mr. Agarwal. So, yeah.
No, so I would say that we have a very lean system. I think we have very few people who work for us. And so because of very high level of mechanization and things like that, I think so for us to be able to propagate the thoughts and to, kind of discuss and kind of, for people to gain knowledge is a bit simpler. So, but definitely we do use external help at times through consultants or through, training programs. But by and large, I think once we decide, okay, this is what we have to do, a lot of self-learning also happens among people, and then we get together and we decide what needs to be done, and then move ahead on that. So luckily for us, we are a very close-knit organization, small and still growing at a fast pace. So I see that that's a big advantage that we have.
Okay. So, Mr. Agarwal, you also spoke about predictive analytics. So, I think that could be one big area for ML specifically, not AI. So, do you think that really it is going to make a sense in terms of, say, ROI? Because most of the logistics companies, in fact, I was speaking with Kaushal the other day, that lots of technology decisions, or of course all the decisions are taken on ROI basis. But of course, numerator has to be high enough. So whether predictive analytics is really going to be there, and even in fact, if you see from automation perspective, India is a laggard, and India, perhaps because of its lower labor cost, may not be automating that much in next 10 to 15 years. So what is your view on that? So couple of things. One is predictive analytics, whether it is really attractive for the ports, or second is what is your view on automation in India?
No, I wouldn't agree with you that India will be a laggard, because you see, I would say that even the government is showing so much intent in in ensuring that everything is IT driven. So I don't think, and what it is doing is that the common man is becoming very much comfortable with IT now. So whether it is the payment systems or it is the banking systems or it is daily use systems that we have, whether it's getting into the airport or whatever, DG Yatra, DG Locker, and various kind of the government's stack is extremely popular, and it is very deeply penetrated with the telecommunications and the system, the deep penetration of mobiles and large bandwidth. I think India has been able to, and the people are intelligent. So I don't think that we will be a laggard, and because we have a lot of MSI, small businesses. So the small businesses, you can say, have been a bit slow, but I don't think that most of them are also now changing a lot, and they are moving towards it. And the big businesses are very well mechanized, I would say, most of them. So sometimes we may not be able to talk about the numbers that we spend, but that has nothing to do with the kind of IT penetration that we have. So I would say that we, as in India, we are going to be one of the leaders, in fact, in this, and we're moving very fast.
Okay.
So I don't see, and this is a long-term investment at times. So you cannot see ROI only in 1 year or 2 years. But this predictive analysis is extremely important for the kind of competition that we are seeing. Where in various businesses the entry barriers are very low, and like Kaushal also mentioned about BSFI and all, the banking services and all, and how the NBFCs are using these things for targeting customers, the kind of calls you get based on your spends, etc. So everyone is using it these days. So you can give them. That's what I said. That whether you are aware of it or not aware of it, but people are using analytics. Earlier, analytics was being talked about, but we didn't have enough tools. But for last many years now, there are enough and more tools where analytics are being made and analysis is being done. It's not that we have data and we are not able to come to a conclusion. Now, with all these tools, we are able to conclude and we are able to come up with decision making on that basis. So that itself brings the ROI. So and what is ROI? Basically, ease of work and improvement in efficiency. Sometimes it's difficult to measure, but it becomes a way of life for the company. The moment you remove it, then you will find that now the things have gone bad. So I think there is, I would say, immediate return. It starts.
Sure. I have one question for Kaushal. Kaushal, you were mentioning about the B2C and the B2B businesses, and how you basically have deployed so many of these models. Are there any alliances or joint development that you have done, or any use cases where you actually collaborated with one of your partners or any other ecosystem vendors, where you jointly developed some platform, which of course is scalable, which can be implemented in various walks of life?
Yeah, so actually, initially, our telematics, as we call it, and the route optimization and the consignee predictive analysis, that's something that we had built the proof of concept with various peers from the industry. Today, as we speak, it's still being weighed on whether it should be something that we develop internally or we partner with some of these vendors and enable that. What came out as a result of this is that it's absolutely essential for us. And what we found is that many of the vendors were very knowledgeable and very proficient when it came to addressing this problem in the D2C segment. But in the B2B segment, there's still a lot of room for improvement, and that we don't see many other companies in the space. Our peers also enabling this, identifying where our customers lie, where their delivery locations are. That becomes very important, and even tomorrow, if you want to, a lot of the compliance etc can be enabled through this. When you have a salesperson go and sign up a customer, and then you have a driver go there separately, you want to ensure that we go to the right location to the right person. That those are things that we try and make sure that, the when we take the GST number of a customer, when we go to pick up, that's again evident and visible, right? That becomes very critical and very important in B2B, especially when you're dealing with such large breadth of clients. There's also some people who can be troublemakers. You'll see that especially in the east or northeast part of the where we are very prevalent. Gati has been one of the pioneers in that area and that geography, and that's a very underserved sector today. And it's important for us to address the challenges with that segment or that geography comes with, and while being compliant as a company and having our processes in place. That's very important. We've also on computer vision partnered with, and we are actually in the process of now going live with one of the vendors on computer vision. We saw that there were many folks who had the solution which was tailored to the retail segment. So a lot of stores today, retail stores today, are able to analyze consumer behavior, their attention on focus on which products are trending, how the sale is working, are people interested in the sale. But we didn't see many vendors who were focused on logistics. So that's one challenge of being in logistics, that we always are the last one. But now I think over the last few years, there's been a good buzz in logistics coming in, and there's, at least in India, when I came back, I was very happy to see that people were doing very interesting things in the space. And one of the companies happened to have the use case exactly as to how we wanted it. And that is very important for us, because we have a lot of folks who load and unload our packages at our various facilities, and many of them could go back to their home from the certain states that they come from during various parts of the season or various parts of the year, times of the year. There is a natural attrition of people. While we do provide training, it's important to observe how their process is, their operations is being managed. We have supervisor on the ground, but while we have cameras as a preventionary as a post-mortem solution today, we want to start using it as a preventionary solution as well. So that's something that has been very helpful for us and very interesting in terms of one of the partnerships that has worked out very well for us in enabling this. Even on OCR for documents or machine learning, that's something that we have been able to partner with an external company to enable that. So these are few examples, and needless to say, our partnership with Tech Mahindra is one of its kind in itself as well. It's the first of its kind in terms of an ERP, logistics ERP being transformed at this scale. And that would be something that would be very exciting in terms of what is going to come forward out of that engagement in the next few months.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Rohit, before you ask your question, I have one last question for Rajiv. Rajiv, and I think Kaushal also spoke about BFSI being a very highly regulated industry and a lot of focus on compliance, ethics, transparency, and so on and so forth. When it comes to your sectors or your enterprises, how do you really look at compliance or governance, and especially when it comes to artificial intelligence or technology?
No, so there is no kind of regulations laid by the government on the artificial intelligence being used in our sector or any sector, sectors that we are talking about are regulated in any case because these are retail sectors and there are rules and regulations of RBI, etc. But in our case, the regulatory bodies, in our case, I think we do not have any such regulatory body. But at the same time, I would say that the industry is such that you can lose customers if you do not do the right things. So as far as the use of technology is concerned, I think it's a very big plus in our industry, because still I would say that people are a bit kind of slow in that, and if someone is using it, it can become very attractive for even our customers, that they can get the benefit of technology and better performance. So what we have seen is that it's a very big advantage for us to be able to use and to drive efficiency through technology, which can help us in competing better in the market and performing better.
Sure. Thank you.
So I think floor can be open for question and answer, Kashish.
Hi everybody, I hope you can hear me.
Yep.
Yes.
Kashish, your voice is very feeble though.
Okay, I will just try to. Something better now?
Much better.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, first of all, for this insightful discussion. I was hearing all of your point of views, and it was sparking a lot of different ideas in my mind. I would definitely like to say that I am not a very technically adept person. I wouldn't understand maybe the technicalities of AI and ML that we discussed, but it was a discussion that was pretty much right there. It was a blend of the technical and non-technical aspects of AI, and definitely that's something that will help us, our audience, to understand things a bit better as well. So we have no questions in the chat box as of now, so I would like to conclude the session.
Okay. Right?
Okay.
So thanks a lot, first of all, Rajiv, that you took us down your memory lane, reminding us all of the early days where the technology was still a budding concept, while acknowledging the significant aspect of AI into the current prominence. It might be a journey for you, and it was a journey for all of us on this live session as well. Rohit and Kaushal, both of you rightly emphasized the presence of AI across industries. And as rightly mentioned, we are moving from product managers to prompt managers, excited for all of these new opportunities coming into the picture as well. Marking a substantial shift, I would say AI must be a newer thing or maybe a newer horizon that all of us need to explore. But Manoj's assertion that AI complements rather than replaces existing technologies was well noted. Reflecting on AI's evolution and its potential, Ever for non-technical individuals offers so many valuable insights into the future opportunities, and we all are looking forward to how we can implement AI in our day-to-day lives and in the business policies as well. As Kaushal also mentioned that he is trying to have AI implemented into different business policies, and he's trying to make things simpler for individuals. Definitely something that we would be looking at in the near future. So this was an insightful conversation. Again, thank you so much for joining us. And we have had a discussion to mark National Technology Day, and technology being a part and parcel of our lives. A huge thank you to all the people who have joined us as well. And I hope this discussion was as insightful as it was to me. And we'll be seeing all of you guys again. Thank you so much for joining in, and we would love to have such conversations in the future. Thanks,
Thanks,
Rohit.
Kaushal.
Thanks,
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. With
Thank you.
Thank
pleasure.
you. Thank you.
Thanks, Kaushal. Thank you. Thanks, Rajiv.